Smite Update podcast is proudly sponsored by Tweaked Audio. Go to tweakedaudio.com for high-performance, noise-reducing earbuds. Use the code OctanePro to get 33% off plus free shipping anywhere in the world. Check out tweakedaudio.com today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 32 of the Smite Update. My name is OctanePro, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Risty. Risty, how's it going? Did he undo the mic? Nope, the mic's still muted. I think it's third show.
There we go.
How's it going, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I am, like, I was talking to Octane a minute ago, I'm literally stuck in a rank that's going on forever.
Understandable, it happens, and Risty was just venting to me earlier of his league drama and dealing with his current league issues per se. So we can definitely jump into that at some point here. I want to encourage you guys to go ahead and check out our audio version if you haven't already. The audio version is available on iTunes and also on the Android store. Look up Smite Update and you can find it on iTunes and also on Android. I know the Android doesn't necessarily have its own iTunes style media player per se, so just I use BeyondPod is a type of podcast app for Android, and then in iTunes you can easily find it there. If you don't catch the entire show and you'd like to go ahead and catch it on the go, those are some great places to check it out. So while Risty goes ahead and grinds out a little bit here with dealing with his
I'm dead for the minute. I got 28 seconds. I'm all good.
his league drama. On the 26th, though, about 5 days ago, we did have the announcement from Hi-Rez, and we were actually talking about this last show. Kind of speculation, if you guys remember last show, we briefly talked about the fact that Hi-Rez Studios, Erez, had mentioned that the release date for Smite would be within the next week or two. And then he also said the same thing with the 100K tournament. Well, we actually got it within, I don't know, 3 or 4 days of him actually making that little spoiler. So we have an article here posted on SmiteGame.com. I'll put it in chat, and it will be directly in the comments for the YouTube VOD. Hi-Rez Studios announces the Smite release date and also the 100K tournament. So it looks like that the Smite release date will be March 25th of 2014. So within about 4 months, give or take. I think we're December 1st now, so about 4 months from now. And then on top of that, so that's the 25th.
I'm surprised actually. I thought it was going to be a bit later in the year.
So did I say like just around like Q2 maybe of
Yeah. I was sitting there going, it's going to be like Q3 at least. I didn't think anything of it.
So it looks like it'll be March 25th, which is actually on a Tuesday. They're going to release the game. And I've been talking with a few employees from Hi-Rez, and they're planning to do a bunch of online events and stuff like that revolving around the release. So I'm really interested to see what type of events and activities they have actually planned, as this is on a Tuesday, the 25th. And then a few days later, on the 28th here, it says they are going to have, or I'm sorry, the 29th, which is a Saturday. So it says the $100,000 Smite launch tournament will take place on Saturday, March 29th, and on Sunday, the 30th, in Atlanta, Georgia, in front of a live audience. So what's going to happen is they're going to invite, let's see, they say here the tournament will include the top 4 teams in the European and also the top 4 teams in the North American side. But how you qualify is that they're actually going to reset the weekly tournament series beginning on January 4th. And then the event will take place worldwide, and you'll be able to check it out on Smite Games channel. So it looks like pretty much starting like January 4th, which is in a month and 3 days, we're actually going to have the teams turning on the tryhard mode now, as it does qualify them for $100,000, which is the largest Smite tournament to date. I'll throw it over to you, Risty. Any thoughts on the launch date? Do you think this is too early? Do you think this is just right with the holiday?
No, it's fine. It's like I say, it's been ready for ages. It could have gone live now, and I've been quite like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So we just won, by the way. But
look at you.
We won at the fact that we kind of killed everybody apart from Poseidon. Went to the Minotaur, and then everybody focused the Minotaur, and Poseidon killed everybody else. And then everybody was dead. All 10 people were dead, and the fire minions finished it off.
You got lucky. I love when the fire minions like do work. I love it. So we have that. The date, I agree. I think is good. I like the fact of kind of moving it towards, kind of getting a little bit away more into March. It pretty much gives us January, because you got to think about it. So they say that the series, the way that you'll qualify, it starts on January 4th. Well, when does it end? And how many tournaments will be comprised of it? Because if you think of it, they got to give these teams a month to get to prep flight and hotel, and then for the people that do have real life jobs, prep for that too. So my thought is it'll be all of January, all of February, and then the very end of February, they'll have to tell the teams that are qualified for it. Which means in reality, let's see, the 4th. I assume the 4th. Okay, the 4th is the first Saturday in January, so that gives most likely that's about 8 tournaments to qualify for this.
So the top 4,
the top 4 from NA, the top 4 from EU, and this is actually something else too. At the TCG, which we'll get into that a little bit more in the show, but at TCG, they actually announced, Todd announced that they'll be taking the top teams from North America, Europe, and China to compete in this 100K tournament. So it's going.
The Chinese meta.
Yeah. Well, my question is, January 4th, are they going to start a weekly in China then? You know what I mean? And then that's going to qualify for it, because we haven't heard anything about a Chinese weekly. But Hi-Rez Todd did say, and if you guys watch that video, I'll link some of those videos in chat from the TCG tournament that did go on this past the other weekend between Dignitas and also Cognitive EU. He did say Chinese teams are included in the 100K tournament. So I'm really eager to see it. I mean, they're just announcing it now. How fast are we going to see teams turn up? And how are they going to compete against, Dignitas or, some of the top teams? We'll have to see. And so that tournament's coming up here in a few months. Risty, you said you will not be going, correct?
No, it's 3 months away, and it's in America. Really? No. So it's not the sort of thing that I can go, sure, I'll drop a couple of grand into that and I'll go.
Hey, it's in America. The only place that matters, right? America.
Oh, really? Really? It's only because it's big. It doesn't really matter. I live in a little country, but it's better. No, it'll be good to see. What we probably will end up seeing for the Chinese tournaments and stuff. We won't obviously get the live one that they would be hosting, because obviously it would be in Chinese and all the other languages there. We'd probably get a rebroadcast, like with CS StarCraft 2, where you it's going on, but you just add in an extra spectator, and then we'd re-spectate it all.
Well, it could be very well Chinese. I mean, I don't see why it's not. I don't have.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to understand the commentary, so they'd need a secondary team.
And I understand that, and that's fine. The thing is that the TCG was actually streamed on Tencent's website. And if you actually check it out, Tencent's website's kind of if any of you guys have followed the StarCraft 2 scene, is kind of like GOM TV, where they don't put it on Twitch. It's directly on their website. So I'm hoping that we can start to see some of those Chinese weeklies on Twitch, because I think it'd be wonderful to see that. But we'll have to see what happens. We also had a panoramic shot here from Hi-Rez Bart, actually, which was posted on Reddit, and I'll have to ask you, and I'll post this in the Twitch chat and also on the YouTube comments.
That's a big screen.
What do you think about that stage, though?
I like it. I do really like it. That is massive.
I think it's awesome. If you take a look, and those of you guys that are looking here on the live stream, underneath of each of the side screens, that's actually where the teams are sitting. You can kind of see these pink column lights, and the monitors are directly above that. And then this is a panoramic shot, so it's a little goofy in some points, but then you have kind of the stage that comes to a point, and then people sitting on the left and right side of it. And as soon as I saw this, I said, all right, well, Hi-Rez, you're going to have quite the competition now in production quality when it comes down to your 100K tournament. If this is what TCG's doing, you better match this, you know what I mean? I don't want to see something dinky. We want to see something big if we're going to have 3 different countries being represented for the 100K tournament. But no, this was awesome, and I actually watched some of the video. There's some video clips here I'll show you guys at the end, and that giant screen is Like, they changed that throughout the whole tournament. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, some of the cool stuff they put up on it while they had people up on it. So, pretty cool there. The next post is pictures from the TCG Tencent Games Carnival. And did you get a chance to look at any of these?
I'm literally looking at them now. Like I'm looking at the 4 cosplay. Man, that guy's hair is white. Jesus.
Isn't that awesome though? Like, that's so cool.
Yeah. They do well. They do. All the cosplayers do look really well. But is Bart in like all of these, just for the sake of it?
Probably. I mean, there's 4
Probably.
in the one. I can actually go ahead and put it up on screen now. You got let's see, you got the 4.
Oh, there's only 4 in these, really, isn't it?
So you got 4, which is pretty cool. That turned out really well. I wonder who they had like design that and do that, because that's not like
a lot of the time the cosplayers do it themselves.
Yeah, and then on top of that you have Neath here, which the Neath one's really good, but the girl just looks like she's not happy to be there.
No,
you know what I
she
mean?
looks a bit go away, Bart.
Yeah, like a little unhappy. There's a picture of the stage, which the stage looks awesome, as we talked about there.
But yeah, if they're gonna with the 100K tournament, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, because literally you'll be competing now. One side's gonna set the bar, then the other one's gonna try and beat it, and especially the fact that you're gonna be throwing 100K into it, you need to be putting some serious investment in to get it looking good.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm just showing a bunch of these pictures here. I mean, they did an awesome job. The cosplays looked really, really good. I was actually really impressed with the cosplays. I thought that was neat. Hopefully we'll see some of that at the 100K tournament too. On top of that, we have another link, and I'll put that in chat too. This is actually, I won't go through all these, but this is a ton of pictures actually displayed. You got a little bit more of the crowd, so you got to kind of see from the look from the player area, and that looks super cool actually. I'm just looking at some of these pictures. Now check out the one that says the casters here. One thing I noticed about the casters is if you could tell these casters probably spent about a day learning Smite, and that was it. Which was kind of a shame, because you
really?
I
never heard I couldn't understand the commentary.
The reason I say that is because in the last link that we'll talk about today, there is a video, and it is translated, some of it, and some of the things they talk about is like, I don't know, just like the way they worded things, like you could tell that they had never casted Smite before. Maybe like League of Legends or something, but it was very like basic. It would be like, oh, Ares is going to do his ultimate, and it doesn't look like he got anybody in it. And, oh boy, Guan Yu's jumping up on his horsey, and let's see if he gets anybody. It was just very much like new
Let's
player
just see what happens, basically.
Yeah. And you know, I can understand it. And, you know, it's not like you're going to expect, like, Bart or Lionheart to get up there and do it, because in all reality, it's better to have Chinese casters. So I can really understand why they didn't do that. Apparently, Bart did the controlling for the camera for TCG as well. It was my understanding, which makes sense.
Separate observer. Yeah, dedicated observer. There you go.
They pretty much had a dedicated observer there just manually, which is pretty funny. But there's a whole bunch of pictures there. I believe, I did link that in chat, so it is available on Twitch chat, and I'll make sure I put it on YouTube. And then finally, the video I was talking about, I'll link right here in chat. And this is just a quick video. It's all in Chinese specifically. But what I want to know is who won what, because the assault match, it looks like Cognitive Gaming EU wins that. Oh, they also call Chunga OP, by the way, the casters do. They're like, Chunga is so OP, oh my gosh.
Oh, she's ridiculous. Even in the games we play, it's like, for real. Especially in the team fight, she hits the ultimate on all 5 people. I sat there for ages with that stun on, thinking, seriously, how long is this thing still on?
Because I think one of the teams had Chunga, and one of the teams and they also had Hell at the same time in Assault, and so it was like double heals, which was like pretty amazing. Yeah, which was pretty cool overall. So, so overall, Tencent looked like it turned out to be really nice. There wasn't really a lot of info like that came our way. Like, I still don't know like who won the conquest matches, who won the arena, who won the assault, what were the layouts, like did they do best of 3, did they do just 1 game each, did they do best of 5? A lot of that stuff
I actually found very little information on it. A lot of these like tournaments and stuff like we had, was it Siege thing?
Yeah, Siege.
And this, and it's Yeah, I'm not. I find that a lot of them, there's not a lot of information to be found. Like I was looking on Reddit, I didn't find like a, I don't know, it just wasn't in my face. I didn't know where to actually go watch the stuff.
Well, the thing is, like, if you go on Smite Games, like Smite Game right now, they have nothing about TCG going on this weekend. But if you go back like ages ago when they announced it, like I don't even see anything on here. No, there's nothing on here at all.
They don't publicize it enough. Like you've got all these
okay,
tournaments.
The
going
last
on.
thing is Tencent and Hi-Rez Studios announced worldwide cooperation and publishing for Smite. So why would you not have anything on your website about this huge event in China? That's kind of what I was wondering, just taking a look at this. Like, I was really confused as to why we didn't see anything. You think they would have put information up on that about, hey, here's the event going on, here's the hours, here's the information, here's a link to the stream. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. we didn't really get any of that, to be honest.
It's the same that's happening with a lot of stuff. Even PAX, the only reason I found the PAX stuff was because it was on the main channel. I think with all these tournaments coming up, they need to advertise it a lot more. They need to put the information. They literally need to put so much information in front of people's faces that they're sick of it. That is how much you need to put in front of people's faces. The fact that I have to look for this stuff means you've not done a good enough job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, information is key. Information is gold, as people will say. And I think that's a very, very good assumption there. Now, you know, something that I have learned, and it kind of irks me, but I understand they're busy with like the whole Tencent announcement, is they make the announcement for the 100K tournament. They say it's going to be in Atlanta. They give you the dates, which is okay, great. You can go ahead and schedule your airfare. But they don't tell you where the venue is going to be at. And then when I go ahead and check with Hi-Rez employees, no one actually knows where the venue is. And then I checked with another employee, I won't name their name, and they said they haven't locked in an event venue. And I'm like, you're 4 months away and you haven't locked in a venue yet? Like, what's going on here? Like, that type of stuff's important to me. But what I did have is confirmation that it will not be at the convention center. So,
right, but the problem you get with that is if they haven't locked in a proper place, that means people can't book flights for specific dates.
Well, I mean, they have they have the dates listed, which they can book the dates, which is fine. But then you can't go ahead and book hotels. And my concern is if it's not at the convention center, what type of facility is it going to be at, and is it going to be set up properly to handle, you know, something like a large? I mean, to me, large.
You know what? It's going to be backdoor in Hi-Rez Studios.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
It's going to be.
I mean, that's just kind of where I'm kind of like, like, you know, what are we going to see here with the 100K tournament? And then I talked to, you know, somebody else at Hi-Rez, and I was kind of like, well, why isn't this information, like, why doesn't everyone know? Like, because to me, you would think a company would announce the venue way ahead of time, let all their employees know about it so that they could start planning things appropriately. And then I found out from an employee that they actually probably won't know, like, any of the details until they get closer, like, within a few weeks. And it's like, a few weeks? Like, are you crazy? Like, people need to have this locked in way ahead of time, because the sooner people know about it, the sooner people can take off. They can prep for it. You can advertise around it and market it for months. You could market this for so long.
And the cheaper it is for people to get there because it's booking earlier in advance.
Well, if you did last minute, I checked the other day at the Hampton Inn in Atlanta. It was $177 US per night. So yeah, it's
you staying there, are you? You penthouse?
Well, that's like the cheap stuff too. I mean, it's on a motel, but I usually stay at Hampton Inns wherever I travel to, and that's where I was planning to stay at. But then I found out that they haven't announced the venue, and I was going to look at the Hampton because it was like right across the street from the convention center. And when I go to like MLG events and stuff like that, I love to stay right across the street because then you can walk to everything you want to. I would fly into the airport and just take a taxi right to the hotel, and I'd be good to go. So yeah, we'll kind of have to see. Lots of links that I'll definitely make sure I include in the chat. Now, we didn't really have any esports update this past week as there was no tournament, but I'll kind of bring this up because Rissa, you've been playing a lot of League. What are you noticing within League? And I know a lot of people were complaining about like not being promoted or being promoted to silver and all this stuff. What exactly has been going on with League recently?
Well, I got promoted to silver.
Okay.
So I got up there, but it's fair enough. Like, it wasn't that hard to get out of. I found that I qualified for silver like 2 weeks ago, and literally every game I played since didn't really bother. So it kind of felt a bit weird that way, because you're basically playing till you get a win streak. That's all you're playing till, and then the first few games in, my God, who were these people? I was playing actually. Funny enough, like the best jungle of my life. I was like 6-1-5-4 as 4 by about 15-20 minute mark, if that, or like really early ahead, and then we're still losing games, and I'm like, and I'm getting like, oh man, I've raised a little bit of people just like how they've got up there. But then the fact that we've got more people in silver now, and we're still getting connected up with bronze people and stuff. I just find
that just means there isn't enough people within that bracket.
Yeah, I know. It's nothing they can kind of do about it. It kind of sucks. But,
so silver is the highest you can be in right now, correct?
No, gold is.
Gold
is. I missed the first one by about 20 places. So, yeah. One thing I found though that's kind of really, well, it's not annoying. It just kind of like this. In your, let me just find it. In your profile details, you can on the loading portrait, you've got different options now, like default, gold, frame, and then it says Conquest Bronze. Well, you only get Conquest Bronze or Conquest Silver when you finish in that league. So for Silver, I'd have to wait till the end of this month to be able to use Silver on my name tile, which they need to fix.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like, I'm in Silver now when I use it.
You shouldn't have to wait that long. It should be when you're qualified for it, yeah.
But no, the bet is very, very tight. Very tight. Everyone follows, like, majority of people will follow the very strictest meta a lot. But then you'll get the occasional one or two that will take the piss, quite literally. We had someone at the bottom, because generally at the bottom of the yellow ladder, they're generally the supports. That's kind of how it works, unless someone wants to go. Well, someone got to the bottom and went, alright, I'm going to go support Arachne. We was like, what? Insta-locked that in. It was like, ah. Funny enough, though, I was 4, so Tectonic Rift plus Arachne was actually quite a deadly combination. But yeah, the skill level of play just wasn't there, and you just died in the team fight later on. I don't even know where I want to go with League though. Leagues, it's addictive to play now. Yeah. I can't go back to casual. I feel.
Now, I guess my question is for you. You played StarCraft and you played other games with leagues in them. Do you find it like, because the way I see, which would kind of bother me is with Smite, is like you could be playing all these games within like, and the leagues are what, every month or every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Every month. So you can play League like crazy for a month, but you really don't know how you're going to sit or anything like that, correct? Until
no, you actually.
The end of the month.
Well, no, you know exactly where you are in the tier. You're in you got a tier summary tab in your league tab.
Okay.
That literally has like a bar across it, and for some reason it doesn't have the relegation bit on it at the minute. Okay. But you should have when you're at a bronze, you'll have a demotion section where everybody else is, and a promotion like color on the bar, and it will actually give you an arrow where exactly you are along that.
Huh. Okay.
So you know exactly where you are and where you need to be promoted. Okay. You just kind of have to work up your wins basically. Now, what a lot of people really don't understand that there's a few things. It's for wins and losses. If you want to get into silver, you need to carry games or certain games. You need. If you're good enough to get into the next tier up, you should be able to make enough of a difference in that game to get yourself up further. Fair enough, there's always going to be the games where you can't do that, but that's the way the kind of league works. But as long as you could make enough of a difference in your win and loss is above 50%, you will eventually get up there. So people just kind of need to persist and stop raging. I tell you now.
Stop raging. You're funny. You're funny.
Yeah, it's one of the ones. The moment raging starts coming off, I will now mute people, because what it ends up doing, it takes your focus away from the game, and then you end up playing worse. So if you're raging at someone, they're not doing it. So when people like rage at me, I'm like, mute, shut up, and then I carry on.
Muted right away.
Like that last game, I was getting raged at completely. It wasn't my fault because you sucked. But
and you guys still won too, huh?
We did. I ended up smashing it out at the end, quite luckily, because no one seemed to focus me, which was quite funny. But we only just won. It was hard. It was a hard slog fight. The other thing I was thinking of.
Now, do you find now that League has kind of been around for a few, like 2 months now, 3 months, or I guess give or take, do you find that the league players are more balanced, as in you're kind of playing with, regardless of playing with some bronze people versus silver, the skill level is very similar, or no? Is it still all over the place?
It's matches can be all over the place. Sometimes you'll get people that are completely horrendous, and people that don't know what they're doing. There was a stint yesterday actually that really frustrated the crap out of me, and I couldn't believe it actually happened.
Okay.
Was the fact that I actually won 8 games in a row, which I was well chuffed about. Got all the way up there. My points per win, I think, went up to 138, which is pretty high when you start at 126.
Okay.
So, and then we got in a game with someone that was their first ever ranked, and I was like,
"Oh wow, really?
How does this work?" Yeah, that wound me up. I was like, "Oh my god, really? No!" Oh, it was terrible. So stuff like that wound me up. I find in ranked. I can see why. Yeah, I found in ranked compared to casual as well. There's such it's such a skill level difference.
Really? Okay.
It really is. You really notice that in ranked, if you mess up slightly, they are gonna punish you hard for it.
Oh, geez.
Casual,
yeah.
meh.
Everyone expects you to be masters in every god in every part of the game, so I can understand that.
Yeah, there's a few. There's as well, like the is a bit as well with jungling. For people that don't know jungling, okay, it's not there to win you your lane. You're there to hold your own. Even if the other
yeah, but the jungler can set the entire pace of the game, if not win the game for the team.
Yeah.
If you have a very aggressive jungler, though, you know.
Yeah, but you can't call for the ganks.
Okay.
The jungler's gonna rotate in like a certain pattern that suits him, or he's gonna go where he's needed certain times. If mid's getting ganked, he's gonna go to help mid, depending on where he is. But sometimes I'll be on the right side of the map for about 10 minutes, just purely because that's where everything's happening. Okay. And then solo lane gets left alone. But they're asking for ganks all the time. I literally can't get there. You need to. People need to understand. You need to hold your own and persist in holding your lane. If the fact you don't get any ganks, not the jungler's problem. He's somewhere else. He's being quite busy. There's a lot of times as well where I'll focus on counter jungling the jungler, and like I'll take their movement speed buff, their red buff, and they're actually winning there and getting all the mid camps. Fair enough. My ganks, I'm not getting as many ganks out, but people go in worst jungler ever. But I'm yet 2 levels higher than the jungler. Yeah. I've got another 1,000 gold more than their jungler, so technically I'm winning. But then when obviously ganks happen, you've got to kind of get there and around. So they got to stop blaming the jungler if they lose the lane. Their lane is their lane to lose. It's not them. And the fact if they get ganked by a jungler, if you get ganked, you should have wards. You should have wards.
Yeah, I mean, I know I see a lot of people when they get ganked by a jungler, they try to blame the other jungler, like your own team's jungler. And it's like, what do you mean? How can you blame him? It's not like he's going to cruise around trying to counter him on everything he does. But I can understand jungling's, I think jungling takes a different skill set, and not everyone can jungle. That's one thing I've learned specifically just with playing in game is, some people might claim, oh, I want to jungle, and then they do it, but they're not good at it. And it's like, to be an effective jungler, you have to have effective clear, but then you also have to know when it's time to gank. And you have to be looking for those gank opportunities when, like, the enemy is pushing the lane specifically, when to gank. Because the ganks do win the game. They really do. They really do. If you have a good jungler, it's amazing. It's amazing how well you can win the game. So, yeah, I can understand.
I like it. I've got a set of places to put for like wards for every single like position. For like mid,
sure.
You should have a ward in each middle camp. Pretty much like in the middle of that little walkway. If you have a ward either side, that's your bit to control. For the jungler, actually, I put a ward inside the red buff and the movement speed buff.
Yeah.
That way we see where the jungler's going left or right. And that actually works really well because if you do it when the buff's not there, you'll see it when it spawns. You'll also know when the jungler goes to get the buff, and you can kind of counter jungle them just the fact you know it's there and they're not there. And if you spot them on the other side of the map, it's just there's so much more vision that way. But
Yeah,
wards, I don't see enough wards yet.
There's actually a question in chat. They say, what do you think about people in League getting placed with people who aren't in their own bracket? Bronze or silver? So I'm trying to understand this question. Does this mean like if you're in silver and you're getting placed with some people that are in bronze? I think it makes sense because I don't think there's enough people to fill out the entire bracket. But you also have to remember, just because you're in silver, you still should be playing with. Let's say you're at the bottom of the barrel of silver, you should be playing with people that are in upper bronze and people that are in lower silver. They should be playing against each other. It shouldn't be strict silver just because you're in silver. You should be playing a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in all honesty, there isn't a big difference between lower silver and upper bronze.
No, it's all ELO rating. If their bronze players are high enough up their ladder, it kind of just meshes in, which isn't too bad half the time. It's like they're kind of around your skill level. Fair enough. If you're playing with bronze people, you've had a hard enough time as it is. So but it kind of compounds it really.
Well, yeah, and it also comes down to your population within your league, and that's the big thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the leads are completely fulfilled yet. Does it give you a number to tell you how many people are in each league, or no?
Current rank, 229 of 2,839.
Okay, so there isn't even that
3K.
many people. So, and there's only 3K. That's not a lot of people. You know what I mean?
There was about 10 in bronze.
And you have to remember, like, of that many amount of people, how many people in silver are actually on at that current moment, you know?
You don't get it a lot.
If you're lucky, 10% of that is currently playing at that moment, so it can't even be that many. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about, we're doing our 3 god reviews of the week, and this week we're going over Cupid, Fenrir, and Freya. So Cupid right off the back for me right now, as I'm playing, I play a lot of 3s. I also do a lot of casting of 3s. Cupid has made quite a comeback, at least in the 3 vs 3 scene. As I'm looking at Cupid at the other parts of the scene in different game modes, Cupid's actually turned out to be pretty good. I kind of like the comeback we're seeing right now. Cupid's actually come to be pretty strong, comboed with the appropriate gods. What are your thoughts on Cupid right now, though?
Cupid's all right. Cupid, that I found out not recently, a little while ago, that Cupid is the hard counter to Neef. Anything Neef does, Cupid counters it. Neef backflips, he dashes forward, he heart bombs, he cripples, he just she cannot get away from him, and he just rushes her down so much. So he's quite good there. The AoE cripple's pretty good. Globally though, outside the laning phase, I kind of feel he's a bit weak in team fight wise. Fair enough, he does have his ultimate, and he's just an AD anyway. But other than that, well, I suppose he brings the table.
As somebody said in chat, you know, there's better in Conquest. There seems to be better choices for hunters. If you're going to go ahead and select them. But I think if it comes down to it, I mean, Cupid is not a bad choice. But I think that's why we don't see Cupid as often in Conquest. It's just because there's better hunter choices that are.
Do you know what I see? On her picked up like every game.
Yep.
I actually don't rate on her that high. Fair enough, if you go up against a Cupid, not a Cupid, a Sobek on her lane, it hurts. Yeah. But then when it comes down to it, on her's not that special. When I feel like his armor's easily dodged, kind of, with an Aegis, and you can kind of run around him. But I feel people hide him too far up on a pedestal. You can kind of you can focus him quite well. He does get away. But I'm more of a Apollo Neef Shibalonke player. I like my globe presence. I feel
Shibalonke's been so good recently. So good.
Yeah. Oh, once you get up there, you just shred. Oh, he's so good. I love him. Yeah. Once you get back to you.
The second god we're going to take a look at is Fenrir, and just kind of do a quick talk about Fenrir. Recently, Fenrir, I feel like Fenrir at first came out of the gates when he was first released, and a lot of people complained about him being too strong because of the amount of burst that he has and the control of the burst that he has. But I think after a while, people have been able to kind of counter that. Look out for those things. It's very easy to read with Fenrir. I mean, what are your thoughts on Fenrir? Do you see Fenrir a lot in League from what you're playing?
I did see him a lot.
Okay.
I feel he's I'd say kind of weak. The only annoying bit about him is the fact that when you jump, the Brutalize still follows you. That irritates me a little bit. The fact that I've jumped out of the way and he's still kind of still there. Other than that, he gets torn down pretty easy.
And that's the thing. I mean, he's great burst damage, but he does get melted pretty easily.
Well, he's so easily countered. If people know what they're doing, if anybody's got a stun That should be you should hold on to that until he does his brutalize. That's it. You shut down his damage. You got a cripple. You shut down 2 of his abilities.
Yeah.
You got beads. You shut down his ultimate. He's very easily shut down if people know how to play.
Sure.
That's kind of So he's all right. There's been a few games where he has actually just destroyed us just because obviously people don't know how to play against him. But it all comes down to player skill. There's a lot of ones like that. So he's kind of all right where he is and good going on.
Yeah, finally we have Freya here, and as I said before, guys, we talk about 3 gods a week. We're currently up to Cupid, Fenrir, and Freya. We'll continue on next week, reviewing 3 gods each week. Just a quick little thoughts on where that current god is in the current state of the game. Freya here, I'm really happy actually with where Freya's at. She's had small tweaks over the past several months, but I'm really happy where she's at right now. I feel like Freya really comes down to skill. And what I mean by that is it really comes down to your player, and Freya can either be terrible or it could be amazing depending on the skill cap. And I think Freya takes a little bit more skill compared to some of the other gods, just with comboing some of her abilities appropriately. I see a Freya, from a 3 vs 3 perspective, I see Freya comboed a lot with an on her, just between the banish and also some of her abilities there. So what do you think about Freya, just from a conquest and from a league perspective?
Freya's fine. The only thing I ever had like an issue with Freya was the slow on her pulse. That was it. That was the only thing I kind of had an issue.
Yeah,
and
I rage about that too when I get hit with it, even though I love it. When I get hit with that, I rage about it every time.
But it's like you're doing so much damage to me anyway because she shreds you. You know when you're getting hit by a Freya, you're going to get mutilated.
Yep.
But the fact that it slows as well, she's always got a Fatalis on her, so she doesn't need... I think she always has a Fatalis. No, you don't build Fatalis on her now. I can't remember.
Well, some people still go
Some
Fatalis.
people do.
It all depends.
Yeah, I've seen Fatalis quite a bit.
Yep.
But, yeah, she just... It doesn't need to slow. Everything else, brilliant. But yeah, no, she's really good. Yeah, definitely a higher skill cap. You definitely noticed that because if you... Knowing when to banish and when not to banish. There's a lot of times where I've seen Freya's banish, and it's like, he's already used his leap. His leap's on cooldown.
When someone banishes just as you use your ultimate, so for the opponent who's in the banish isn't affected by the ultimate, and you're like, facepalm, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like, or like, you've got like a small time to get them between their jumps, and they banished it, and it's like, but now their jumps come off cooldown, they've got away. Why did you banish? Someone in chat saying about the hasten Fatalis, you actually want standard Fatalis because you actually move quicker and attack quicker. I think. Okay. No, you actually just move quicker. That's kind of how it works once you get the stacks. Fair enough, the movement speed buff kind of helps, but yeah, you actually do better with a standard Fatalis.
Sure, without a doubt. So once again, guys, there isn't necessarily a patch for this week. We kind of just wanted to do a quick show, just kind of going over some of the news from Hi-Rez with the release date, news on the 100K tournament. We went over some of the Tencent stuff, some of those pictures that came out, kind of reviewing that and our thoughts on the stage and things like that. Before we go ahead and head out, we will be doing a 200 gem giveaway in chat. And why don't we do 2 of them today? Feeling generous. Before we go ahead and do that, though, I want to make sure that you guys know that if you guys want to check out all of the video VODs of this show, or if you're checking it out late, please go over to youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. Once again, that's youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. You can check out all the shows over there. Also, check out the audio version on iTunes and also on the Android store. Just go ahead and look up Smite Update as well. We're looking for more reviews on iTunes, so please make sure you guys post your reviews. If it is on iTunes on the US store or even on the Great Britain store, I'll make sure that I do check it out. Before we do our giveaways, Risty, where can people check you out if they like to keep up with you?
They can find me at youtube.com/RistyUK and Twitter @URistyUK. Pretty easy to find.
Easy peasy. And that information, guys, will be up at the end of the show here, so you guys can see it if you guys didn't get that. Once again, you can check me out on OctaneProGaming.com. That has everything you want to know on me, my 2 podcasts that are over there, my streaming setup, bio, lots and lots of VODs that I do have over there for Smite and a few other games as well. But before we go, let's go ahead and do our gem giveaway. As I said, I have 2 200 gem giveaways. So let me go ahead and put together our keyword. And I'll just pick 2 people from one keyword here. If you guys are interested in winning 200 gems, please put in chat the keyword of 200 gems. 200 gems is the keyword. Please go ahead and type that in chat. In the meantime, so what do you find yourself playing a lot of recently in League? What god have you been playing a lot of?
4.
Really?
I love Jungle 4.
A lot of jungle. Now, have you found a lot of issues with people arguing with you to play jungle, or no?
Yeah. There's like the hierarchy with the top down that obviously picks the jungle. And then it's sometimes I play it's and then
So
sometimes I've been nice.
if you're top elo and you kind of are listed at the very top, you know, then you go ahead and take it. You know, you have the authority to go ahead and select who you want. But if not, you're kind of in trouble, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. There's been a few times that I've let people jungle as well. Like I'll put in like jungle ADC or solo, and then other people have gone jungle. And do you know what? Every time I do that, I regret it. I think there's only been like 1 or 2 times that I've been like, yeah, okay, that one. Like that game there, I kind of let the jungle. Actually, I didn't have much of a choice there. I was blower. But no, 4. I love 4, and I've kind of got down to it now with the jungling. I concentrate quite a lot on counter jungling. Like the start, we'll go for the mid camps, and then I'll try and go for the movement speed buff, depending on what happens. But I'll obviously ward all them before the first buff comes back up. I'll get over to their buff, and I concentrate more on counter jungling. And with 4's hammer teleport, I can get in there, hog, and teleport straight out, or just use my ultimate to get out, depending on what happens. So I really focus quite hard on taking the other jungler's buffs. So if he's not there spot on when he needs to be, I'm taking the buffs. So it's definitely getting that timing down a lot. And then I find as well, when I'm taking the buff, if mid's getting some stuff going on and getting pushed pretty hard, with 4's ultimate, I can ult up and land pretty much in mid when they're trying to retreat. So it works out quite well.
Okay, good to know. Let's go ahead and do our roll for the 2 sets of 200 gems. First set goes to Axum Dizen. AXUMDZN. What a name. Please go ahead and post in chat. You'll have about 1 minute here. In the meantime, I'll put together your gems, and once you post in chat, I'll go ahead and send them to you. So you have about 1 minute to post in chat, and there it is. You are in there, so I'll go ahead and send them to you. And our second roll, let's roll again. Our second roll is to Smite. Smite. Congratulations to you, sir. I will send you your 200 gems. And yeah, good for you. So make sure you guys go spend them. In order to do that, go to the in-game store, go to redeem code, and then go ahead and paste in what I send you, and that'll go ahead and redeem your gems for you. So congratulations, man. That is awesome. Anything else going on with you, Risty, before we go ahead and head out?
No. Risty, if you shave, no. No, I literally, after the first week, my was it first week or 2? One of them. It was so big that I had to get rid of it. I had to go for this new job, and I had to go speak to the boss, and I was like, so I had to take it off. Couldn't do it. There was so much to it. But also the fact that I grew like a huge beard, and then was like, I don't know how I should cut it. So.
How do I trim this? How do I make it look appropriate?
Yeah, how does it work?
Someone in chat, can I purchase a lock of your hair?
Well, when I shave my hair off, I'll have a clump. You can have the little ball of clump. It's quite funny.
That's gross.
But no, yeah, that is gross, pretty much.
That's gross. All right, folks, thank you guys very much for joining us. Make sure you check us out next week. Hopefully we'll have a patch to go over and discuss. Next week it will be on Sunday, and the date of that will be on the 8th of December at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I will be over on Smite Game at 7 o'clock p.m. I will be doing the Smite Talk, and my guest host this week will be Dry Bear. We'll be hanging out, shooting the shit, talking about some good stuff, so make sure you guys come over there and hang out with us. Some of the topics for tonight on that will be Vulcan, the rework, and where we think Vulcan's currently at in the game, the current state of the gods and map balance in the game, Tencent game Carnival, and finally the release date and the 100K tournament. So make sure you guys check that out. That'll be at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and that'll be with myself and Dry Bear taking viewer calls on those topics. Until next time, guys, take care. Thank you very much for watching.